Well, prior to March, when most of us heard or saw the word Zoom, we associated it with the sound a fast car makes in a cartoon. Now we know it's the way in which we interact on a daily basis with our coworkers and bosses. So this week, I Zoomed with a branding and marketing expert to get some advice on how to become a Zoom All-Star. Steve, you've been doing Zoom meetings professionally for 4 or 5 years, plus many live seminars. Can a Zoom meeting ever be as good as that face-to-face interaction?
I think it's harder, but it's not so hard you can't do it. The strategy is to not say, I'm on a technology platform, I'm going to act differently. Try to have the technology disappear and imagine you were in the room with that person, engaging with them. We tend to think of customers as people who live outside our company, but to succeed in your job, you've got customers inside the company, your boss, your colleagues, people that report to you. When you're interacting with somebody on Zoom, whether it's a group of people or one-on-one, think about, what do I need this person to believe coming out of this meeting that will encourage them to take the actions I want them to take?
It's almost like being back in school. You know, do you raise your hand? Do you raise your hand too much, too little? How do you stand out but not stand out too much?
The goal is to focus on not just getting on the Zoom call and dispensing information, but saying, how am I going to engage with this person? Now, as a person in the meeting participating, how do you make sure you stand out? Well, there's a couple of points. Stay engaged in the conversation so what you say is relevant to what's been happening. It's really clear when somebody's just been phoning it in or paying attention to something else and they get caught off guard. See that a mile away. And resist the temptation to monologue. There's a lot of people on a meeting, or there's a few people on a meeting. Keep it a conversation.
So let's take this from the supervisor's point of view, the boss's point of view. What are some tips for a boss in a Zoom meeting?
The tip for the boss is don't start monologuing and if it's a guy, mansplaining, right? Just don't start doing that because, it's kind of like everything you do as a boss is like whispering through a megaphone. Your slightest words and actions, your team interprets them and makes decisions or evaluates you because of them. Always practice something I call the 1 paragraph rule. Never talk more than 1 paragraph at a time without leaving space for somebody else.
So your background is nice, some books and kind of a cool music clock. Are you in favor of these backgrounds that say you have the Eiffel Tower behind you or Disney World or the ocean?
I think it's good that we're now getting used to seeing people's homes. So it can be your home, okay? It's okay if you're sitting in your kitchen, it's fine. Just recognize that people are going to evaluate what they see, okay? Think of who the audience is, who you're with. If you're with people you work with all the time, you have great relationships, Disney World might be okay. But if you're speaking with some bosses or maybe a customer or a vendor, consider what that image shows. So balance your privacy with something that looks appropriate for the audience you're talking with.
What's something maybe we can do better in a Zoom meeting than we can when we're face to face?
It's a really interesting question. What could you do better? Well, I think in one sense, if everybody's online, it's easy to sort of get a leveling of the playing field, right? Because everybody's there at the same size box on the screen, et cetera, if you're in the gallery view, of course. And so you can maybe get some opportunity for people whose voices might not be heard in a big conference room to have their voices heard a little better. Also, when you're going to share information, if you've got some data you want to share, you can put it up on the screen and everybody's seeing it from the same distance. Now, of course, when you do that, you got to be really careful to not launch into just like monologue presentation mode. At every moment when you're looking at that camera on your computer and people are seeing on a screen, they're evaluating you as they interact with you. So think about how you want to interact with them and create an experience of interacting with you that will encourage people to believe in you and want to collaborate with you.
Steve, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rich.
Steve Yastrow is the author of 3 books on branding yourself or your business. So if you'd like to learn more, just log on to yastrow.com.